meaning the country was sliding backwards. And it was evident that one of the major contributors of economic growth to our country, which is the mining sector, was dead completely. So you needed to revive all the big mining companies to get back to productivity. And no one can argue that up until this time, the production figures in the mining sector have begun going up, and it is evident through the numbers how that inflation has begun going down, how that economic growth is going high, projected this year to grow above 6%. It's because you had purposed that, Minister of Mines, there will be no mining in court. We must bring the mining companies to the table, begin to negotiate so that they quickly go back into production, because we couldn't see production by people fighting in court. As a result, KCM, for O2C, production figures are going up. Mopani, production figures are going up. Forgotten mines like Kitumba are going into production. A mine that was closed 23 years ago, Shaft 28, dewatering has reached very advanced levels. They will soon be going into production. Talking about more investment coming through NFCA, in excess of $500 million being invested around the NFCA expansion project. There is a Kitumba mine in Mumbwa, Mr. President, which was also riddled with legal battles, and because of your policy of not mining in court, there it is, will be going into production as well. So really, I cannot forget to mention a mine that was shut down 43 years, which is Kalengwa mine. It's back on board. That has been revived as well. What am I saying, Mr. President? Now that you have dealt with the big mines, may I not forget the recently launched S3 expansion project, which started under your reign in 2022. That's when the board decision was made because of the policy environment that you created. And therefore, S3 was launched, big project. Kansanshi will go to 450 to 500,000 metric tons production every year. As we are speaking, Mr. President, Lumwana is doing their expansion in terms of the super pit. I look in the crowd, I see the ZCCM board here, Mr. President, reminding me of how that ZCCM for the first time has given out a check under your reign of 500 million kwacha as dividends to the Treasury. I'm sure Honorable Msokotwane is smiling. This is because of the policy environment, Mr. President, that you've created in this country, so business is thriving. I remember you sending me a message about how they've profiled the performance of the economy of Zambia under your reign. And the mining sector has been a critical component, a contributor to that projected growth of our economy. Now you have said, can we narrow it down to the Jerabos, to the small scale, to the women in mining? Let us bring them on board. There will be no illegal mining, you have instructed. And when we were in Kansanshi, you instructed that, Minister, I want a conference. I want to converge with the small scale and artisanal miners. I want to interact with them because they are a critical component of what we are doing in the economy. Mr. President, this is your conference. This is what you wanted. Here are your miners. Please come and speak to them. With these few remarks, Mr. President, I now call upon you to come and address.
You may take your seats, please. Thank you very much. Please do take your seats. Thank you very much. Let me acknowledge the Minister of Mines and also Cabinet colleagues from the country and those that may be coming from outside the country, our country, provincial minister, public sector workers, all of you, central government, local government, business colleagues that are present here, chairman of ZCCM and your team, and I know some number of mining houses are here and their leaderships, we acknowledge you. The Chamber of Mines, very important partner to us on this road, on this agenda. We acknowledge your presence. The Federation of Small-Scale Mining Associations of Zambia, you are the reason we are here today, so we acknowledge you. The President of the Association of Zambian Women in Mining, Zambian Women in Mining. We recognize you. These women have been resilient over many years. I've been watching them for the many, many years, even in my time in business. They continued pushing, and we appreciate the work you've been doing, but we want you to explode your business activities. That's why we're here. Members of the Diplomatic Corps, I've seen a number of those, a number of you, rather, cooperating partners that are here. And indeed, I want to acknowledge delegates from outside Zambia, here in different capacities, some representing their countries, so we can exchange experiences. That's very important. So I'm very grateful that you took time to come out here. So we recognize you. And may I just say, distinguished guests, but more importantly, the artisanal and small-scale miners, yourselves. Thank you for coming and answering the call that we should meet in this manner. Let me acknowledge the press who do lots of work, and we take them for granted that they will communicate what we do, but we want to give you special recognition for being present here today. Ladies and gentlemen, let me not take time to articulate the theme which you all know already. Let me not take too much of your time to repeat what has been said by my colleagues already, but before I go into the emphatic areas, I want to spend time on this subject of artisanal and small-scale miners. I really want to reiterate our honor to officiate at this 2025 Artisanal and Small-Scale Mining Conference. A conference, as you heard from the Minister of Mines, we motivated because of some of the reasons that I will articulate. We motivated that this conference must take place because it's very, very important that we do things in an organized way, in an orderly way, in a methodical way. Otherwise, we'll lose the opportunities that lie in front of us because we're not doing things properly. So thank you for being here, and I also want to repeat my appreciation of welcoming the delegates from outside of Zambia. In our region here, SADC, outside SADC and continent, and from elsewhere. Once more, thank you for coming. I do believe that from yesterday, the delegates have been sharing experiences, lessons, and indeed gaps in this sector of our economy. And your economy, these sectors of our economy is here, your economy is back home for those who are visiting us from other countries. And I think it's important to avoid reinventing the wheel. We must learn from each other and not repeat mistakes that are costly. And I'll mention some of the costs associated with not doing things right in this sector, and indeed in the artisanal and small-scale mining, as it were. So I'm very grateful that we are here once more. Let me just articulate the context. Mining is part of a critical sector for us in this Zambia. By history, we've been a mining country. But we have been underperforming as an economy in this sector of mining. for many years. And we have taken a decision that as part of our economic reconstruction story or agenda, as part of our thrust to focus on economic growth and more growth, we'll make sure we get this sector, together with other sectors, because they're complementary sectors such as energy, because you can't drive mining without energy. Almost impossible. At some stage, you need energy. Even if you are an artisanal miner, you're using pick and shovel. At some point, you have to wash that mineral, if it's gold. You have to process it so that you can get proper value. And I'll get to those issues. But this particular sector, mining, must contribute to our economic growth in a meaningful way, in a way that will deliver benefits to miners across the different sizes. Big mines, we've already talked about it, 3 million tons. And the investments that we're attracting in that segment of the mining sector are clear. Maybe 3 years ago, some citizens, some observers, commentators would have not understood what our thrust was about the revival in the mining. Minister talked about us taking a fundamental decision. And for me, for my sins of the past, I've never been a fan of litigation in business. Never. In my private business days, very few people knew that I existed because I was never in court. It was intentional because you spend too much time and resources away from the core business. So we took the same approach that we will not be mining in court. And by the way, we were in court not in Zambia. We were in court in London. 2 litigators, Zambians best, they were litigating in London. And they were all flying every now and then, every quarter there's a court session there in London. Look at the time, look at the legal fees. That's not how we do business. So we drove a point that, as the minister said, we will do business in the mining sites, not in court in London, not even here. Those resources are better applied in creating a fund to finance artisanal and small-scale miners, rather than paying legal fees and the air tickets to London. I hope somebody is listening here. It's very simple. It is very simple from where I stand. So we took that decision, and the minister will tell you a long list of mines and mine projects we've had to unlock as part of our intentional approach to unlocking the economy and this particular sector. Over 100 years of mining experience. We had to do that. And that unlocked First Quantum, S3, Trident, Nickel Mine. Checklisting. That unlocked Mopane, which was in comatose to what it is today. And I want Zambians to pay attention to this story that we've been working on for 4 years now. With great difficulty when we started, as you elected us into office. As the minister said, the economy had collapsed. And part of that collapse was sitting in the mining sector, when assets were basically not in productive use. This story is important to us seated in this room and to our region, and I believe the world. So Mopane gets resolved, First Quantum gets resolved, Lumwana gets resolved, more investments come, $2 billion super pit, $1.25 billion for S3, increasing the production as we set the targets. I must be emphatic here. We decided to set targets, not to work just by the day, to work by the week, by the month. We said, no. We need to set targets, hence the 3 million tons. So all this work was meant to unlock the assets, to get them into productive use and move us towards the targets. As we move towards the targets, we will get the economic benefits that we intended to derive out of this channel. I won't repeat what the minister said. Just to correct one factual check, Minister. Kalengwa was out of commission for 47 years. 47 years. And we brought it back into useful, if you like, activity. It's not a joke. I was seated with former Vice President Kabindele there in Kalengwa, and he whispers to me, HH, what magic are you guys doing? I was Vice President, I was a senior minister here. I come from just a few kilometers from here. Kabompo, Mufumbwe Kabompo is next door. Manyinga, Kashinagash. My beloved Kashinagash. He says, we forgot about these assets in UNIP. Then we came into MMD, we didn't even think about this asset. PF came, never talked about this asset. You guys come, you're playing some magic. It's not magic. It's intention. And I want delegates in this meeting to understand that we are here to discuss and walk away from here with clear intentions how we can extract value from artisanal and small-scale mines, as we have done on these assets that I'm talking about. KCM was in liquidation. How do you put a company in liquidation when you need to grow your economy? No matter what challenges you are faced with, that's not the way to do it. And we had to unlock a convolution of complications in KCM. With all our good intentions, it took us 2 years, 2.5 years to unlock. These things are not easy, especially if they're damaged in the process of weaving them around using shortcuts. I'm telling a story here towards artisanal and small-scale mining. Things we should not do, such as to litigate in our small artisanal mines. If you're litigating every day, you will not produce any gold there. You will be in court in Lusaka or Copperbelt. That's the lesson I'm giving here. And we'll try and provide what we think is a framework for us to avoid these mistakes. I can go on, it's not necessary. So today, I believe Minister, at the lowest chairman of ZCM is a KCM plummeted to probably around 25,000, 30,000 tons, if they were able to achieve that. Below that. And with all these efforts now we've made, we've unlocked that. And one asset only will give us 500,000 tons a year. One asset. First quantum. Total. My count is on just my palm here. We push First Quantum to give us 500,000 tons. We push Lumwana to give us closer to that. Number two, we push Mopani to move us closer to that. We push KCM to move us closer to that. 4 assets potentially could give us 1.5 to 2 million tons, closer to our 3 million tons target. When we set that target, a lot of our competitors in politics said, figures for the visitors. our political competitors say, no, this president likes giving figures and setting targets. He can't achieve those targets. There we are. But to do that, we had to do certain steps, walk certain steps deliberately. Lesson for artisanal and small-scale miners. You can't go there and start pushing your pick and shovel without a proper plan. What will result is deaths. 22-year-olds, you'll be burying them every week. That's what we're here for. To put context to this conference by pulling lessons of even big assets that could not even produce 100,000 tons when they had the capacity to produce 500,000 tons. Colleagues, you artisanal and small-scale miners, you need to know that we love you. This government loves you. This president loves you, right? And there's no leader who loves his own family members who drive them into suicide every day. Then you are lying. You don't love your people. I have put context in that sense. We want this artisanal and small-scale miners, mining sector, subsector, to contribute to this economic growth and more growth, to create jobs. Right? Three things. To contribute to the growth, to do three things in summary. One, to create jobs for yourselves as miners, but for the people you will employ in your artisanal mine or small-scale mine. It's number one, value. Number two, you will create business opportunities for someone to supply you with a pick and a shovel and a front-end loader and a tipper and indeed maybe an excavator. You give somebody a business opportunity. They too will create jobs, more jobs. Very simple. But the suppliers of fuel, the suppliers of spares, replacement, as well as replacing equipment. Very simple. You create a job for the mine plan designer to design your mine plan. I'm simplifying this story so that after this conference, we work together as a nation. In what? One direction. Not in different directions. We walk in different directions, we've lost it. And I'll tell you how we will lose it and how painful it is to lose the direction. Very simple. Number three, we will create treasury income. So one is the jobs, two business opportunities, more business opportunities, three treasury income. Which income we need to open up roads in Kikonge, in Kasempa there, in Lumezi. How are you going to mine without roads? What you do with the supplies, because you need food to come in there. That is why in Kikonge, the price of meal went up from 200 PS to how much? 350. The price of meal into the mining area in Kikonge almost doubled because you can't access that place. You see the importance of working together properly. Anyway, treasury income. We open roads. While you are mining there, your child will be going to school free of charge under free education. We need treasury income. What else? You will have medicines. We will put up a health center right there at the mining site so that when you feel ill, you have malaria, you can be treated and you go back in the pit. Simple. Very simple. It's not complicated. You don't have to be a rocket scientist to understand these things. All right? So we need treasury income to support I said infrastructure, health, education. Then you can focus on mining. It's not complicated to understand that. Absolutely not. Absolutely not. But we need to work together with a clear vision how this sector will contribute to growth. I'll come to one or two things as I summarize, because that's where my emphasis is today. I'm just setting the stage. So we have to work as one Zambia family, one economy, one sector in mining, large scale, medium scale, small, artisanal. One sector, which is all interconnected. You need the skills in there. Sometimes I wonder that, what have my countrymen and women become? Pulling in a death trap and even encouraging more to go in so they can die there. How does that make you successful? I think I've said it all. Let me now focus on 4 things only, which this conference must pay attention to as we pitch the story together, patch the story together, call it anything. 1, 4 minimums in the mining sector overall: large, medium, small, artisanal. Call it micro if you want. 4 minimums, and only these minimums. I said minimums. When they apply, you go and mine. If they don't apply, you will not be allowed to mine there, for the reasons I've stated and the ones I'm going to articulate. 1, legal mining. Legal mining. I know the minister will have touched on these things, but legal mining is a prerequisite to any mining, large, medium, small, artisanal, micro. You have to mine legally. If we don't have a license there, individual or cooperative or corporate entity, you will not mine there. Because this country, part of its growth agenda is to create an environment of law and order. When there's no law and order, it's sangwapo. Everything goes when there's no law and order. The job of the Minister of Mines is to facilitate legislation, issuance of licenses. That's the job of mines. Cadastre, everybody. Legal mining. Let me ask you artisans, who has a house of their own there? Artisanal small-scale mines. I want just a hand. Who has it? Or women in mining. Namakawa, I know you have a house, your property. Where is she? Yes. And the what? Okay. In your house, you have a small yard. How big is your house? Huh? How big is the plot where your house is? Okay. All right. You may take a seat. If you have a house of 50 meters by 50 meter plot and you have a house there, and you have a small garden inside the house, would you allow a passers-by to walk in your yard and set up their own garden and use your water in the house? Would you allow that? What would you do if you found them doing that? Be honest. What would you do? You will ask them to leave, isn't it? Why would you ask them to leave? That premise belongs to somebody. And if they don't leave, the next time you're going to have is a fight there, isn't it? And somebody will be injured, the police will be called in, and an arrest will be made. So that if she wants to put a lawn in her yard, the house and the lawn, she can do that. But I'm encouraging you, Zambians, to put a small garden. Muzidi mavindu bakudya. Right? Now, you have understood where I'm going. If you have no license and you claim to, what's the size of artisanal and small-scale mines? 200 hectares? Huh? Huh? Small scale. What about artisanal? Okay, 6 hectares. My minister, 6 hectares. Thank you, sir. I'm joking with him. So 6 hectares. Now, in that 6 hectares where there's alluvial gold, you go in and start digging. The neighbors hear that there's alluvial gold there. They too also pick up a pick, and eventually on 6 hectares, you have 1,000 miners. Do you know what will happen next? You start hacking each other, isn't it? One will pick a shovel and hammer the other one. It is human behavior. It is normal. That's why someone must have a license to that 6 hectares. So that you can wake up every day and go mine in that 6 hectares, and you won't find an American mining there. All of a sudden, they may be more powerful. They even carry a gun, and they scare you off, shoot in the air, and you run away. Then you go to the police and say, no, someone wanted to kill me. Why did they want to kill you? No, they are mining in my area. What do you mean it's your area? Where's the license? Need the license. So how are you calling it your area? The 6 hectares is not yours, so you're vulnerable there. Get a license. Get a license. And mines should give you a license. Minister, conversation. How many licenses have we given since we came into office? For small, medium, artisanal license.
Over 1,400.
1,400 licenses. You should be one of those holding a license in that block. If not, this minister's job is to give you licenses when you apply. And there must be no corruption in the issuance of licenses. Citizens must be allowed to have access to licenses. We must have an efficient system in issuance of licenses. That's what you artisanals must be asking this government and this ministry, that we don't want corruption in the issuance of licenses. Is that not good? You need a license, isn't it? Then you have the right to have a license, isn't it? You have to be a Zambian. In this sector, you have to be a Zambian. In this category of mining, you have to be a Zambian. Because that's the correct thing to do. Then, when you have that 6 hectares on a license, mines must be able to mark it nicely so that you don't start extending into the next person is 6 hectares. Because that will be another fight now. The licenses must be marked properly. Then Namakau can have her vegetables, you can store your gold without anyone coming to steal, and I will come to that point. So, license. If a large scale has a license, you know the procedure. You can't just walk in there. You can walk in the dumps that belong to someone legally and start mining. When you are asked to come out and ask for a license and the clearance from large scale mine owner, you go in the streets. Chingola. Abena Chingola, eko mulimu. Fiamule Uma streets, you start breaking people's shops, you start taking away merchandise from a widow who is selling to feed her children. Tafiri we know. Put yourself in the owner of that shop. Someone comes and breaks your shop, takes away the minimal, they haven't paid for it. Put yourself in that situation. Someone will come in your 6 hectares and take the gold that you mined yesterday, the ore, which you are preparing to sell or to take to an off-taker. I have spent time on this number 1 item. Put yourself in that situation. Will you allow them to come and take your gold? Be honest, will you allow them to come and take your gold? So why are you going to some innocent person's shop, you break the shop, and you take millimeter? That is what is called lawlessness. And no country succeeds in an environment of lawlessness. Finish. You don't have to be intelligent to understand that. Put yourself in the shoes of that person. On your mind, on your 6 hectares. I think the point is made. Legal mining. Number 2, safe mining. Very simple. Safe mining. Large scale, medium scale, small, artisanal, micro. We must mine safely. I see geological colleagues here. I see mining engineering people here. I know you by face, some of you. One of you, I'm looking at you directly there. Right? We have to mine safely. If we are going to go 20, 30 meters down, you can't dig a rat hole like that. You have to bench that site properly. It must be planned. It must be designed nicely. And the Ministry of Mines must create capacity for such services to be available to artisanal and small-scale miners. That's our commitment as your government. Why? Because we love you. If you don't go there to mine 20 meters, 30 meters down there, it's a question of when you will be going to the graveyard. Or at least your body, because you won't be there, you'll be dead. Your body will be taken to the graveyard sooner or later. And you think that you are superstitious. I hear there's a lot of sangomas in those mining areas, telling you that they concoct some stuff and rub your body and you sleep at the graveyard. Then you say, no, go in, you will not die. That sangoma wants your 6 hectares. He wants you to die so that he can now take it and be the owner. I hope we're together. I'm not joking. On this continent, one of the things we should fight is superstition. Right? It's damaging businesses, damaging lives, killing people. The sangoma concocts you, gives you a concoction, you go in the pit, which is not planned, it collapses. Then you die. Then when the relatives go to your sangoma to say, but the man you gave a concoction has died. He says, no, he didn't follow instructions. You see? Bubera. Wenye. Boza. Kubeya. Let's not go that way. You do wrong things, you will die there. In Chingola, we have been burying our beloved young people over and over. We don't want you to die. We want you to mine and become wealthy there. That's the interest that I have. That's why you elected me into office, is to protect you. That's my job. So how do I become a bad person when I'm trying to save lives of my fellow citizens? Because you'll be 6 feet under, you'll be dead. I hope I'm talking to somebody. Honestly, colleagues, safe mining, physical safety, protection. What other element of safety? You cannot treating the mineral you mine using mercury. You are polluting the water bodies. We can't clean that gold with mercury because we're going to pollute our streams and rivers. And when you go to Lusaka, come to Lusaka, you live in Lusaka, you are drawing water from Kafue, which is purified, comes in your homes. That water will be all, if you like, destroyed. Which president can sit and wait until all the rivers are polluted? Because you're using wrong processing methods which are damaging to the environment. Trees will die, fish will die. We've seen it. Safe mining. Safe mining. Parongobam. Mwewa nanti. Nzuma omwe. That's the issue. How does your president and your cabinet and your government become bad by saying, let's not pollute the water, we need the water to drink? We need the water to feed our animals. We need the water to irrigate our crops. We need the underground water to dig boreholes so that every school, every clinic has water and sanitation. How do we become bad when we ask you to protect your environment? And you get angry, you go in the streets, you start shooting policemen. Kikonge. I corner man. I corner. I corner man. I corner. I corner. I corner man. I corner. Can't do those things. That's what a responsible government does. But yet, we want you to be rich. We want you to employ people. We want you to make money. But we can do it without destroying the environment and without dying every day. I think you've got the theme on number 2. So legal mining, safe mining. Number 3, formal trade. Formal trade. When you are mining there as an artisanal or as a small-scale miner or medium-large scale, we want you to trade in that metal in a formal way. We don't want you to put it in ukwa bags and go to the airport illegally and try and export it. When you are caught there, you'll be jailed. Back to law and order. But we want a formal market arrangement. You are producing gold, mining gold. Namakau, you are mining emeralds. And you, tourmaline, you are mining aquamarine. You are mining amethyst. When you have mined, sell it in a formal channel. Don't sell it to illegal buyers, because that promotes the 4th point I'm going to make. Sell it to a legal entity. That's why we're bringing ZCCMIH, ZAMGold, we're bringing in others, structuring transactions around there. So that you, when you mine your gold, you may not be able to process it, you are able to sell those ounces of gold to a ZAMGold or to an off-taker who will pay you a fair price, and you make more money than selling your gold at a quarter of the market price. You need that, so that when you make you suffer the lot, you produce your gold, and you are selling it in the form you produce it, before it goes for processing, you are paid a fair market price. What is wrong with that? Is there anything wrong with that? So because we want you to make money, you will then you will be paid a fair price. But Minister of Mines, ZCCM, that's where we come in, to provide an off-taker. And at that point, we may partner with an international business who has experience, which has the resources to bring on the table. It means now, while we are saying artisanal and small-scale mining is for Zambians, but there's an opportunity for international investment to come at a buying point. I hope you have seen the connection there. Simple. And then we must process, Mr. Musonda, Festo Musonda, we must provide processing facilities. The reason the artisanals are doing wrong processing with mercury is because you are not there to buy the raw material and process it properly. So this conference is saying to you, be available in Kikonge, in Kasempa, in Chisamba, in Impika, in Shiwangandu, in Mapatizia. Be available. If it's not you individual, let's work out a system where many players will be available to off-take and to give our small-scale, medium-scale artisanal miners the market. Please take your seat. Is that a problem, colleagues? Shouldn't. Then we refine the gold. Then we sell the gold to Bank of Zambia, our central bank. That's what Constantia is doing. I've been chatting with them, a large-scale company producing gold in their Constantia mine, and they then sell it to Bank of Zambia. in a formal economy and more foreign exchange is generated, and then we increase that foreign exchange, we stabilize the kwacha. That's why you see the kwacha stabilizing, because of these measures we put in place. And then when you buy your excavator, you pay less kwacha for the same dollar price of an excavator, because your kwacha has reasonably appreciated. That's a connection. That's what I came here to discuss today. You benefit from a kwacha, we import capital items, you pay less kwacha for the same machine, which before you used to pay a lot of kwacha. You benefit there. Your government is arranging things so that you can benefit, and you can be strong artisanal businesses, off-take agreements, formal trade, earn money through the banking system, not in okwa bags. Very simple. Not in okwa bags. And if you have problems there, tell us, your government, to say, we are here at a conference, we have heard you, Mr. President, but we have these challenges, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And we will list those challenges and we will work with you to resolve those challenges. Finish. You got my message. I can give more examples, but you got my message. Number 4, hear me out. No large-scale miner, no medium-scale miner, no small-scale miner, no artisanal scale miner or micro will be allowed to mine in an area like Kikonge and bring insecurity there. So security. No mine area will be allowed to bring insecurity there. Armed thugs there. This Minister of Home Affairs is seated there. This Minister of Mines is there. And the Minister of Defense will tell you when they went to Kikonge, they found military guns there. Automatic rifles, machine guns there. What were those guns taken there for? Is to kill somebody who they've grabbed the 6 hectares from. A fight ensues. They are afraid to kill in the day. In the night, you knock off from your pit. If you didn't die that night, you walk home, you are shot dead. Because you quarreled at the site, back to license legal mining. You mine your gold, you put it for sale tomorrow. In the night, someone steals it, you resist, they shoot you. Very simple. Security in the mining areas is national security issue. This country is doing geophysical mapping, high-resolution geophysical mapping. We are about 30% there. We don't want the results of this mapping to bring more conflict. Eventually, the whole country will become a country of bands of militias. And you yourselves, who you think you are clever, you take a gun, you invite someone, even a foreigner, to bring a gun, and there's a culture of killing they've come with in this country, and they start killing, you yourself is a target to be killed. How does that help you? And you've invested all the little money you had in that mine, and you are shot dead. The police go there, the police were attacked in Kikonge there. Do not attack the police. Do not shoot someone, even within the same mine. If you don't agree how to mine, you get a little gold, there are 3 of you, you have a cooperative of 3 or 5, you start killing each other. Then the habit of killing grows. Killing human blood, once you spill it, it will drive you to kill more people. I beg your pardon, my colleagues from Congo, Eastern DRC. Killings have been going on there for 30 years, 35 years, 40 years. A child is born by 12 years old, they've already killed. And in the house they're keeping a gun. I'm not allowing Kikonge to become anything like that. You are not allowing, you operating there, to allow Kikonge to become anything like that. Chingola, Mufrila, Lundazi, Chama, Chamukahie, Rufunsa, Mapatizia, Shiwangandu, Mpika. Now, if we create these conurbation of violent centers, what country are you going to be left with? Even a farmer who is going to the field will be gunned down. Then there will be no food. Then the price of food will go up. Then the inflation will go up. Then you come and shout at me, HH has failed to run the country. Icona man, Icona, Icona. Icona man. Our love for you is to make sure that we mine properly, in a legal way, safe way, four more way. One, legal. Two, safe. Three, formal. Four, security. If we create more Eastern DRCs, what do you think Africa will become? What will Southern Sudan become? What will be Sudan come? What will be Sierra Leone come? You know the story of Sierra Leone. The whole Congo DR, Katanga here, what will it become? There need to be a continent of bloodletting. How can there be leaders, calling ourselves leaders, and we're allowing our continent to generate into rivers of blood and polluted waters? Where will be our pride? Where will be our responsibility as leaders? Nothing. That's my message. That's my message today here. And I invite you to share in the value, the positive aspects of these four core areas. And we as your government will facilitate to make all of these four areas possible so you can do business. So you can sleep after a hard day's work at your mine, you can sleep there. And food will come in because there will be a road there. And there will be a clinic there. And there will be a borehole for water there. And there will be a school around there. You can't take children out of school and put them in those rat holes. They have a future. They are the next presidents. We have given free education so that all your children, while you are mining, can go to school. Let them stay in school. There's time for everything. Don't drag school children into those unsafe mining holes. How bad is Bali is? How bad is UPND government? How bad is the Minister of Mines? By working with you so that you can mine safely and become richer. And you create more jobs. And you supply the big mines. Our vision is that the big mines must work with artisanal and small-scale miners in a partnership. And the small-scale miners, artisanal, will supply things into the bigger mines. The bigger mines will pay you a fair price. And we're going to watch them so that they don't cheat you. Simple. If you ask these big mines, many of them started as small mines. Don't argue you were not there. First Quantum started at Mukubwa there. Am I right? First Quantum. I've known those guys. The founder of First Quantum, 35 years back, I knew Philip Pascoe. 35 years back. And they were doing a Pikinini stuff there at Mukubwa. Today, First Quantum is the largest mine, 500,000 metric tons. Today, First Quantum is listed, I believe, on the Canadian Stock Exchange and elsewhere. In our eyes, today First Quantum is the largest single taxpayer in this country. Minister of Finance is there. There's no one who pays more tax than First Quantum Minerals, which started Pikinini mine in Mukubwa in living memory. So you too can be the next First Quantum, you who are seated in this hall. I have a message for fellow citizens. When you say this government has given away tax revenue to the mines, you are wrong, please. The ones partially funding free education is these mines. Minister of Finance is there. When we came in 2001, on average, before we changed the dividend model, we were getting how much money per year? Roughly $10–15 million. Am I right? What are we getting now? On only one line, not minimum loyalty, just on the loyalty on the dividends. How much are we getting now? 60 to what? Average. Roughly, Festo. Huh? Okay. 60s. Right? From 10 to 15 per year to $60 million per on only one revenue line called minimum loyalty. Not minimum loyalty, loyalty model. The minimum loyalty is different. Now, numbers don't lie, fellow citizens. Why are you misleading citizens that we as a new government has now given away more tax revenue to the mines? We are collecting more money now. Just one revenue line, you can't even compare. 10 to 15 to 60. We have increased the revenue on that revenue line fourfold. Numbers don't lie. There's the Minister of Finance, there's the Chairman of ZCCM there. That's your company. You own it. You own First Quantum Zambians. That's your company. We have structured shareholding there. You own Mopani. 49% of Mopani is owned by citizens of Zambia through ZCCMIH. There is First Quantum, which we structured ourselves. From 20%, 25%, Minister of Mines, you're here. Yeah, from 20%. We have upgraded the government shareholding, people's shareholding in Mopani from 20% before we came in to 49%. So where is the argument to say we've given away value to the mines? Please give us a little bit of attention what we're doing. Numbers don't lie. That's why the economy is growing now. We inherited an economy going into the negative, minus 2.8% growth. In 4 years, the economy this year is expected to grow. Even in the drought year, we grew by 4%. This year, we're expecting to grow closer to north of, say, 6%. 4.8, 5.8, 6%. If we were not taking these measures I've given you today, we would have never been growing to this level. When we came into office, tourist arrivals were 500,000 per year. Last year, 2024, the tourist arrivals went to 2.2 million people. I have knowledge of this business, a little bit of knowledge. And the numbers, you don't even have to calculate. Occupancies are high. Restaurants in the lodges, hotels are busy. Laundries are busy. Simple. Deliberate, intentional. We want this growth to come into the artisanal and small-scale mining, which we can track, and we want to see wealthier artisanal and small-scale miners who did not die yesterday in the pit, but they are alive to enjoy their sweat. It's as simple as that. And I want to end by saying your government is committed to making your lives better. Our aspirations when we took office, I sent that Minister of Mines to Ghana very early on in a visionary way. I sent him to Tanzania to see what our friends are doing there. Now time has come to address the artisanal and small-scale mining subsector so that it too can grow the way First Quantum has grown, the way Lumwana is growing, the way Mopani is growing, right? And we'll set up a deal room If you have a license, you have no money. Don't sit the whole day at food fair in Cairo Road there, selling a license in a briefcase. Then tomorrow you say, no, I have no license. But the records show that you got a license. You are one of those who got a license in the 1,400, and you sold your license. Then you start shouting on Facebook and WhatsApp that this government is not giving licenses. The record is there. So we'll be watching you who are posting that you don't have a license. We will then send someone to respond that you owned license XYZ, you sold it at food fair there in a briefcase. We don't want you to sell your license. Find a partner. Find another Zambian. So we'll facilitate that. Right? Honestly, this is a very important day today. We have not forgotten you. How can we forget you? Now we have dealt with other issues, we are dealing with you now. Let's work together. And this sector will do what the Ghanaians are doing. The artisanal and small-scale gold miners in Ghana are pushing more gold than bigger companies into the Ghanaian economy. And I phoned my brother there, President Mahama. And one of the messages that's coming clear, he says, you know, in his first term, he tried to introduce that people were making noise, betting around, calling him names. He comes in the second term, bang! He does it, because it's the right thing to do. And then you see the economic value. Gold is contributing substantially to the Ghanaian economy. Why are we not doing it here? We can do it, isn't it? We can do it, isn't it? Women in mining, we can do it, isn't it? Let's work together as a team. Financing is part of what we need to provide. Equipment is part of what we need to provide. But if you are mining through these 4 areas, you will be able to pay back the loan for equipment because you'll be paid a better price. Everything is connected. It's a jigsaw puzzle. Every piece leads to another piece fitting in. Thank you for your attention.
Ladies and gentlemen, another round of applause for the President of the Republic of Zambia, Mr. Hakainde Hichilema. And I believe the message was loud and clear for all stakeholders at whatever level, whatever your role is in that jigsaw puzzle, as he said. And so let's all come together and make this work for Zambia and make it work for Africa as a whole. Thank you, Mr. President. And now to deliver the vote of thanks, I'd like to invite Mr. Victor Kalesha. He is a committee member of the Federation of Small-Scale Miners Association of Zambia. Let's put our hands together as we welcome Mr. Victor Kalesha to give a vote of thanks.
Thank you so much, Mr. President, the Minister of Mines and Minerals Development, the other ministers around, the Permanent Secretary, other Permanent Secretaries, and may I simply say, distinguished guests and gentlemen, on behalf of the Federation for Small-Scale Miners Association of Zambia, with its 18 affiliate members and the hundreds of artisanal and small-scale miners that have been issued and are still being issued with licenses, we would like to extend our heartfelt gratitude to His Excellency, the Republican President, Mr. Hakainde Hichilema, and would like you to know, Mr. President, that we are seeing and we are watching that your leadership is somewhat unmatched because things we are seeing with my fellow small-scale miners we never saw in the past. Some of my colleagues might have been seeing this auditorium on television, but today the President says, I'll sit down with you in your own auditorium and engage with you amidst these busy schedules. We say thank you so much, Mr. President. You're recognizing the significance of artisanal and small-scale mining in Zambia, and your stakeholder engagement is very much commendable from us, your miners. The Honorable Minister of Mines, we really appreciate you for driving policy changes benefiting our sector. The launch of crucial documents will enhance safety and sustainability. The document that was launched yesterday has been long been awaited for, and we are grateful, Honorable Minister, for initiating that. We appreciate the initiative to issue letters of offer, train and license members in the artisanal small-scale mining sector to various districts, showcasing commitment to sector development. To the Permanent Secretary and the technocrats at the Ministry of Mines and Minerals Development, we thank you for implementing growth-promoting policies. The introduction of the small-scale mining department is a milestone we've been long advocated for. Thank you for giving us that department. This conference has fostered valuable discussions from yesterday and collaborations. We look forward to continued partnership and engagement. We thank you, Mr. President, for your leadership, your support. We are grateful for your administration's inclusive approach. We bomb the minister's office, we bomb the permanent secretary's office, and they give us time because of the direction you have given them. To my fellow small-scale miners, artisanal small-scale miners, bantu bandi batila akanani kantu kali kuminwe eko wingalole shapo pali akanani akalefu okututwala mukuya mukuseka efe tatwaseka po. May God bless you.
Thank you very much, Mr. Victor Kalesha, from the Federation of Small-Scale Miners Association of Zambia, for that vote of thanks. Ladies and gentlemen, we have come to the end of the official opening.